Welcome back everyone, not only to the video, but probably to Star Citizen as well, because, let's face it, what were you doing? Playing 316? I doubt it. And if you are new to the game, then this video is perfect for you too, because I'm about to blow your mind with inarguable facts and logic, explain why everyone's favourite gun is actually bad, and show how SIG's weapon design makes the near sum total to no sense at all. Maybe you think that's harsh, maybe you already think I'm just rambling, or maybe you think this video is just a baseless comparison without any substance. Well, why don't you stay tuned to find out? After all, it's thanks to active members of my community like you participating in the comment section down below, sharing your ideas and experiences, and by getting more involved live on stream that actually help me make these sort of videos possible. With the please and thank yous out of the way, let's move on to a gun that is probably the biggest, baddest, most popular gun of all kind. That's right, talking about the arc light laser pistol. It's important to mention straight out of the gate that I am not relying on raw data from the game files to make my claims in this video, nor do I believe you should. Countless times over and over have I witnessed and proven top standard weapons to be completely misunderstood, and if I went into all the detail, no one would watch the video because it would be over an hour long, maybe another time. For now, the information given to you, you're just going to have to believe comes from a reliable source, a background of producing this sort of content year after year, and also a deep understanding of the game mechanics. So much so that if you want to really know how some sneaky ways of keeping yourself alive and out of harm's reach compared to those that don't watch this video, you're going to want to stay tuned for some special secrets that will, I promise you, give you the upper hand against those that don't know. The arc light energy pistol is a great place to start then, which demonstrates this pattern of stats really meaning nothing. Everyone forgets about the mini assault rifle in your pocket. With this weapon being an energy type, you get 30 charges per battery cell. Barely any damage drop off and a fire rate as fast as you can reasonably pull the trigger. The arc light is a fantastic, completely underappreciated top tier weapon, with the stats to prove it if you want to go digging. It's given to you free when you start the game, and I strongly recommend it as a secondary for those that are more credit conscious, maybe even a decent primary in times of need. The arc light energy pistol is first on the list, and an A tier weapon no doubt. Next, let's move on to another basic standard issue weapon, the P4AR. The P4AR is a very familiar rifle to anyone that has ever shot, either in real life or in a video game. I guess the only major difference is that instead of being based on your standard M4 platform, this rifle is based on the more modern G36 platform. Granted, not important, but I thought you should know. The P4AR has come a long way since the patches of 3.9 and 3.10, where I last did my detailed analysis. The issues plaguing this weapon, and every weapon of a ballistic type, damage drop-off, etc., have been drastically remedied, and now, in most modern patches, most ballistic weapons, not all, perform as you may expect them to in a video game. The P4 has multiple fire modes that can be utilised to some effect, though I strongly recommend you stick to full auto. But in short, it's a reliable platform with modest, but most importantly predictable recoil, and it has a fair damage and fire rate output. Able to kill in only 4 well-placed shots to the head or slightly more to the rest of the body. It's got 30 rounds of magazine, and as far as you can probably tell, feels no different to your average shooter game rifle. Another A-tier weapon. Next up, the P8 SC SMG from Bearing, an old personal favourite of mine, now reduced to nothing more than a pea shooter. It still has the looks and the style to win awards, but sadly as of 3.17, its fast fire rate with pitiful damage drop-off, thanks to its smaller than rifle caliber, make it an instant pass for me, which is a shame, because it used to be reliable, even at some range. Now that range seems to be the floor beneath your feet, or more realistically 3 to 5 meters in front of you, at most. C tier. Another SMG sadly ruined by the suspected changes as of 3.17 is the Lumen V SMG. Your energy equivalent to the P8 with arguably even better style and form, but barely any function. Which surprises me. This gun was rather hard to use as it was in patches prior, but thanks to how energy used to work, the damage wouldn't drop off over any reasonable engagement range, and thus the benefits of a lightweight, high maneuverability platform could balance out its awkward burst-only fire modes and slightly smaller ammo count compared to its bigger brother the Gallant. So now, if you thought the P8 is a pea shooter, then the Lumen V is a water pistol. Not a good one. More like one of the ones you get from a cracker. It's bad. Don't use it, unless it's for style. Then do so 100%. C tier. Now, luckily, there is an SMG that isn't a complete waste of your time, and that SMG is the C54 from Gemini. The C54, since its release, has always been a very good choice. Some say broken. Stupid fast fire rate and what I consider to be too much ammo, the C54 is a rapid response to anything that might try to jump out at you. Sadly though, being an SMG, it does suffer at range. However, thanks to its insane fire rate compared to the P8 for example, it is able to compete against even some of the best ARs with its smaller caliber rounds. That's the power of crazy fast fire rate. I put the C54 in B tier. There is one solid all-rounder in the SMG category though that is both great up close and a solid performer even at range. With the largest ammo capacity of any SMG, a similarly excessive fire rate to the C54, and the benefits of an energy ballistic range that, for some reason, isn't shared with the Lumen. The Custodian SMG is one of the best guns in the game. Makes sense, really. After all, SIG did give this gun the only special one-of-a-kind skin obtainable only to those that visited CitizenCon all those years back. 3 skins, in fact. Custodian has multiple fire modes, but everything but the full auto is useless and actually performs worse, both damage output and rounds per second. So for almost any situation besides the extreme at-range engagements, you don't really need to look any further than the Custodian for a personal defense weapon. It's also probably the best weapon for competitive Star Marine. A tier. Now, before we move on to anything else, I want to get some really silly choices out of the way. Because of course, you can use a rocket launcher or a railgun in PvP FPS play, but you aren't going to succeed well. So, the Animus missile launcher. It's an amazing choice, maybe the best choice for ground-to-air combat, but you can't really fire it without locking onto a ship. And if you somehow manage to, you're probably more than likely just going to end up blowing yourself into mush. It would be unfair though to compare it in that way, so I will comfortably give the Animus a position as our second B tier weapon. Next in our B tier list would have to be the GP33 grenade launcher. Only B tier, I hear you cry? Yes, because don't lie to me, you aren't actually using it. Yes, it's strong, and yes, it's hella effective at removing people or a group of people from an area or position, but it doesn't have the range. It's actually just very lethal to the operator, and it's only thanks to its great stats and wicked cool design that I have to have it here. Otherwise, I don't actually think the grenade launcher belongs in the game. At least, not now. A weapon that I have loved for years though, a little or big trick up my sleeve for any boarding operation. My personal go-to for self-defense against the dark arts of flying sorcery, the Scourge railgun is definitely not a B tier weapon. This is the only anti-vehicle weapon that can properly be used against other players, and it's also one of the only weapons that's far more utility than just blowing things up. It's perfect for busting doors open or to work as a flare. It just has so many uses, and it's just such a cool gun. I have to give it a near top level place in A tier. It also helps, it does do a good job at blasting up vehicles. Now to something a bit more relatable to round up what's realistically going to have to be 2 videos by the time we get to the stuff you really want to know. The Gun Energy Rifle. Yeah, it's that time. You may have seen some of my streams, you may have seen me ranting and raving about this weapon already. Or maybe you've watched one of my the secrets behind FPS weapons in Star Citizen videos. The Gallant is still completely broken. From a design perspective, from a gameplay perspective, and rather than fix what makes it an issue, the developers decided to destroy what was a meaningful choice and a difference between fire modes. Originally, prior to 3.17, the gun had full auto fire mode and a 5-round burst fire mode. Of the two, the 5-round burst has always been the strongest choice, and a little broken thanks to its damage output combined with fire rate. The full auto mode was a great way to give players some utility if they ever felt like they were surprised, encountered more than they expected. It was a less skilled option, but as a tool, it was a less skilled option, but a tool that could be utilized. In this current patch, however, the developers have, instead of bringing the burst mode to a more balanced state, rid the rifle of its full auto capacity and stick it with another burst fire mode. A burst fire mode completely pointless, as it just fires less rounds. Why would I choose that? Why? The Gallant is still a top tier weapon, one of the best in the game, but it now lacks true choice and reasonable decision making. It is an energy type though, so all the benefits of bullet damage drop off and range are all there. In space, this thing is even more lethal. And for all those good, broken reasons, the gun is still an S tier weapon choice, just like it was way back when in 3.10. Now that we have one of the major players listed off, I'm going to end this video with a quick fire-off with a few not-so-special mentions. The LH86 pistol, better than the S38 pistol? I think so. Though they are practically the same, I feel the iron sights on the LH86 are superior, with arguably better looks. But I think these two not-so-special pistols have a place in B tier. It's odd, actually, you know, most pistols aren't that weak. All of them are actually quite strong, but there are two that stand out particularly as being more powerful than the rest. The Coda Revolver pistol and the Salvo Frag pistol, as well as a special third that's totally different from anything else. But to find out where they sit on the list and what I think of them, or more importantly, what broken little tips and tricks I can give you, because trust me, there are some super broken tidbits you are going to want to know. Please come back real soon for the second half. I wish I didn't have to separate them like this, guys, but to be truthful, no one's going to watch a 30-minute video, and I want to get all of the details and all the stuff that I think is important. So if your favorite weapon wasn't covered here, well, you know what to do. Come back in a couple days, maybe at the end of the week, second half, where hopefully your favorite weapon will have a place on my tier list. It's probably going to surprise you, actually, because as you'll notice, not a lot of D or S tier weapons. And that's for a good reason, because I'm saving those till last. Now, until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. Bye for now. And of course, if you liked what you watched here, check out the rest of the videos on the channel. Come over and see me live on Twitch, or use the referral code on your screen right now to get yourself started in the game with some extra benefits. I look forward to seeing you.